Hi guys, so I'll admit that I'm not really that into wearables and I'm trying to get myself into more things here with reviews to make it a little bit more diverse the channel. For example, focusing a little bit more, I'm starting to review audio. And yes, well, I'm going to start with this with wearables, is the Amazfit GTR. So this is the 42mm version. There is a larger one out there, which is the 47mm version. So I currently just have, you've probably seen in a lot of my videos, I wear this all the time, which is the Mi Band 2, and it's very basic, but what I like about it for my own needs, I don't really need a lot, but I like the battery life, which is just great on this thing. I mean, it lasts for almost 3 weeks, at least with my use, and I do use it for heart rate monitoring when I go out. Of course, I got to use the Mi Fit application, which will be the same for this right here. So this is quite an interesting model because it's now a newer version that's recently out. It's the global version. And it does have an AMOLED screen, which has a resolution of 454 by 454. It's 1.39 inches, 50 meters of water resistance or waterproofing, which is good as well. So you can go swimming with this watch. It's got the continual heart rate monitor on there, lots of different functions, lots of sport tracking functions, GPS. It doesn't take a nano SIM or anything like that, but it does have wireless connectivity, Bluetooth 5. So in this video, I'm going to take a first look at it and my first impressions of the Amazfit GTR here. So let's take a look at the packaging. This is, I believe, the global version because it's not in Chinese, and it should all be in English straight out of the box here. So you can see those specs that I just talked about at the beginning. I won't rant on about them much longer there. And this is also talking about the battery capacity, which is 195 milliamp hours, which doesn't really seem like a lot. Input voltage for the charging is 5 volts, 300 milliamps. So it doesn't need a lot at all to charge it. Bluetooth 5 as mentioned. So we'll see what we get inside here. Obviously, we're going to have the charging cradle that we need to charge this. So here we go. Nice little white box. And a good presentation there of the watch. So they've just got a screen protector on here, which of course I will get rid of now. And a little tab here, so pull this up. A little instruction manual, which is in a lot of different languages there, but it doesn't seem to have European languages as I can see. Oh, okay. We've got, looks like Spanish and Italian, Russian. So there are a few there. Here's the charging cradle, or should I say the little connector? Well, it is like a cradle, isn't it? So that will just clip on to the back of it. You've got the 2 little pogo pins right there for the connection, and just use your standard phone USB charger. No problems with that. Now it's going to take about 2 hours to fully charge it, and the battery life as mentioned is up to 24 days, but really depends on what features you're using of this watch. So very nice build to this. First impressions, really good finish. Like there's no sharp edges on this whatsoever. So you can see it on the back of it here. There we've got where the sensors are. So this will be for the heart rate monitoring, the 2 connector points there for that charging base. So this should just magnetically, and I can feel, yeah, pulls it into it. Just sits in the middle like that, although it doesn't want to sit in there probably. Oh, it's because I've got it angled wrong. Okay, so you've got to get that at the right angle. There we go. Okay, and that locks into place. So that's easy to charge this. It's not like this silly thing here I've got to pull out of the case, which is kind of a pain when I have to pull this out off the strap, sorry, in order to charge it. So let's power it on. Oh, okay, download the app. So I'm going to need to download that. So it's an AMOLED screen that it's got on it. And we'll look at the strap too. Quality feels quite good, strong. Again, very good build quality here with this. So that is nice. And I've just noticed that they've got these little tabs here, so it will be very easy to swap the straps once they wear out, or you're not happy with this color, you decided, no, I want a leather strap, I want another strap. There's other third-party manufacturers as well with these straps, so you can get lots of them. So just pulling on this tab, that will then allow you to pull that right out, swap it over, should be fairly easy, and just give a quick pull on that, that it does feel very tight there, so you shouldn't have this breaking off easily if you happen to snag it on something. So I'm going to install the app, we'll get it set up and just go through a few of the features here of the Amazfit GTR. So how does it feel speed-wise? Is it like a lot of the wearables or watches out there that tend to be a little bit laggy? Well, you can see that it's not a super performer, but it's not the worst I have seen. And you can see they're sliding along. Okay, it's not going to be super quick. So here you can see our steps, calories, pretty straightforward. This is a heart rate monitor. Before it was working when I had it actually on my wrist and measured 63 resting heart rate, but it'll tell you there where your heart rate is and what zone. It will also give you a readout. But more on that later on once I actually get into testing that later out. I just need probably a week or so to go through a run, go for a swim, go for a bike ride as well, which I do a lot of. So there's the default watch face here that it comes with. Now, if you swipe up, you've got your status, heart rate, workout. You can go straight into those modes from swiping. The other way you can do it too is if it's off, we go back to the beginning, tapping the top button, tap this button right here as another way to do that. Now, this also lets us know the remaining battery life. So out of the box, it's come with 60% charge already, which is good. And if I went into, say, walking, you can see, you can start that right now. It's still trying to get GPS signal because I'm indoors, so naturally that isn't going to work. So let's have a look and see what we can do here with different modes. So outdoor running is by default. And then you've got lots of different modes right here. So you can see them all, like treadmill, outdoor cycling, open water swimming. Now, swimming tracking is one of those things that has not been very good with a lot of wearables. So it'll be interesting to see how that is if I can get out and swim that elliptical trainer, climbing, trail running, cycling, skiing, exercise. So all of that is in there. There's quite a few options for your tracking, your fitness tracking, which is good to see. So the top button also acts as a power button. It is red. Now the buttons, they do have a good feel to them as well. They feel quality. So I don't imagine that they're going to get, hopefully they're going to last for a long time. I don't imagine they're going to wear out or anything like that. Now I'm interested to know myself is how the face of this, the glass, it's got Gorilla Glass 3 in this, so it should be quite scratch resistant because my Mi Band 2 that I have has some really bad scratches on it because it's only plastic and of course it's not going to hold up very well. So it times out automatically the screen to save on battery life. So when you want to set, you either tap the button or just tap it. And we'll take a look at some of the settings we get here as well. So those are the steps there, and it's from this menu here, you just got to swipe down into, well, not into status, sorry. I'm still getting used to this. There we go, down. And so we've got torch mode, we've got battery saving mode, which is going to really even lower that performance even further. Lock mode, right here we've got your night mode. This is brightness. So out of the box, it's actually on automatic. Turn that on now, which is a little too dim at the moment because I've got really powerful studio lights on here. So I just keep it there on the manual setting. Now, one thing I've noticed that the dial is quite hard to make out. It depends, of course, on what face you're using in direct sunlight here. This is at 100% brightness, and even on the auto brightness setting, it's really no brighter, so quite hard to make out. So I'm just currently measuring my heart rate here. We'll see how long it takes, but it's so much faster than the Mi Band 2, as expected. That's a very low-end watch, that one. So this, okay, there we go. What was that? Maybe 20 seconds or so. So that is quick. I'm going to go back out of here now. I'll run through the rest of the settings, which I haven't shown you. So you swipe up here, you've got settings, but there's also these other options. So very straightforward, like set your alarm, event, reminders, notifications. You've also got music, weather, activities. That's all really straightforward here. And under more, so we've got compass, timer, countdown, find mobile, which is handy if you don't know where your mobile is and you're within range of Bluetooth 5's range and your mobile, it will then beep and you will then be able to locate where your mobile phone is. Again, that's straightforward there. So I'll go back into this, just show you the settings. So there's where you change the watch face. I think you need the app then to download or sync through the different watch faces, but there's apparently just so many of them, apparently 100. So you can change it all the time. You've got quick start setup, screen on duration, which I think needs to be set a little bit longer, especially for me with these videos. And I would set that to the maximum, which is only 15. Of course, that's going to shorten the battery life, and that's why they set it by default to be so short. And let's have a look at what else we've got in there. System information as well, so that is straightforward. This is about our firmware version. You can see that I'm currently on. And every now and then, of course, they will push through firmware updates. So the quick start button, that is this one right here, you can assign to whatever you use most. You can see you've got the heart rate, workout, weather, notifications, event, reminder, alarm, compass. It goes on the list. So one of these right here, whichever you would use the most, would be what you'd set it to. And a very quick look at the Amazfit app. So if you've used Mi Fit, Xiaomi's app, this is very similar to this. So you can see it's going to give you stats of how long you've been sleeping, your sleep information, your heart rate, what that has been, and of course your weight when you're monitoring all of that, your different exercises, the kilometers you've done, exercise time. This is all going to be right here, and when you want to start then a new exercise, you can do it with the watch itself. It can pair through and sync that information if it's tracking it okay, that is. Okay, so my first impressions, I really do like the build of this. This strap feels very strong. You can replace it. It is a light watch. They've got the alloy around the outside, metal buttons with a good feel to them. Screen brightness, when you turn it up, looks very good. With the bright studio lights on, of course, and the auto brightness, it toned things right down just to save on the battery life. But when you're in direct sunlight, it will be so much brighter as well, then it'll pick that up. So performance, you can see that when I scroll through quite quickly here, that is going to be a little bit laggy, but it's definitely not the worst with the wearable phones. I've used quite a few that have been on Expo when I was at IFA and went through them. Some of them are a little bit choppy there, but with the RAM that this has on, and considering the very low-end chipset, this is to be expected. It's not going to be super smooth. It's not running at 90 Hz the display, but overall it is looking good. So you've got the different options there through the settings that I quickly showed you that you can really adjust a lot of things. The heart rate monitor is very quick to get a reading. It only takes about 20 seconds, perhaps maybe 25, 30 seconds tops. It's a lot quicker than, say, my Mi Band 2, for example, which is, yeah, dated old tech. And you can see going through the menu here, that is actually quite quick. Not bad there for this. So you've got the settings where you can change all the watch faces. You've got various different options. The main thing is just how will this track my workouts? That's why I will be back with another video. So I'll go for a bike ride, I'll go for a run. We'll see how it tracks and monitors me with the GPS and the monitoring of the heart rate monitor, how that is just going to work there as well. And then, of course, the battery life. Just how long is it going to last? It's going to be all dependent on your use. So for every person out there, it's going to be different. Some people will barely use the heart rate monitor and other features like the GPS with the tracking. So it will probably go for then 24 days. And if you use the display at a higher setting, if you're using it a lot, you're doing a lot of workouts with it, then expect to be, I would say, charging it every week or something like that instead of every 24 days. So I'll be back with that follow-up video. Thank you so much for watching this unboxing and first hands-on impressions of the Amazfit GTR.